free. And this is a film of, or a little clip, I should say, of Clara Bow portraying the typical flapper. And there is some music. Keep in mind that these are silent films. And you can see she's spotting the short hair and the short dress and smoking, giving that like flapper perspective. Okay, so you can see how the flapper perspective is really portrayed there. Moving forward, here's some photographs of Clara Bow, kind of showing her sexuality and more skin and excessive makeup compared to what was previously shown decades before. You can see she's nice makeup look there, she's posing, she's just expressing herself, and it's good. Women are gaining rights. So now I'm going to address what actually happened to Clara Bow, because she kind of just disappeared from media. So Bow's forte was silent films. However, talkies, or films with sound, started to become more popular. Productions found Bow's heavy Brooklyn accent unattractive, saying her appeal would fade when people heard her voice. Bow also had a ton of additional problems besides societal changes. She had gambling debts, unpaid taxes, and several public court battles going on involving love affairs. Bo had a good friend who paid her bills, kept her house running, and ran errands for her named Daisy. Bo discovered that Daisy had been stealing from her bank account, took jewelry and personal items of Bo's like love letters and telegrams. The total amount stolen resulted to $35,000, which is a lot of money back then. Bo was very hurt by Daisy's actions, who in retaliation fired her and threatened blackmail. In return, Daisy sold many of Bo's love affairs to a newspaper company that the public had no idea about. In result, lessened her appeal to many. On top of all of this, she was very unstable mentally, suffering weight problems, and couldn't handle the stress of being in the spotlight. She was on a ton of pills from day to night, suffering from insomnia since she was a child. Publicitaries were trying to exploit her as much as possible. Magazines were telling horrible lies about her, and she had no support from her family. She was all alone, and the stress was too much for her to handle. And she actually invited her dad to live with her in LA, and her dad was just a nuisance on the set. He was always drunk, and he was trying to get with the other actresses. So on top of that, her dad was kind of like a negative attribute to her success. She ended up marrying cowboy star and future politician Rex Bell at the age of 26 and moved with him to Nevada to escape Hollywood. It turned like a lot of people were surprised she married him because he was a very stable guy, and he actually really cared about her, which was nice too. She officially retired from movie productions when she was 28. Bow ended up having 2 children with Bell, but suffered mental illnesses and was in and out of sanitariums for the rest of her life. She tried to commit suicide in the 1940s and often could not see her 2 sons, whom she adored, due to her mental conditions. Bow stayed out of the spotlight for the rest of her life, developed an attitude of an introvert, and blossomed to a weight of 200 pounds. She became a widower after her husband's death in 1962. Bow died 3 years later at 60 years of age on September 27, 1965 in Los Angeles, California from a heart attack. And fun fact about the silent films, Bow said she didn't like talkies because she felt that, like, in silent films you could be more yourself and you had restrictions in talkies, which is kind of weird to think now because, honestly, before this, I've never seen a silent film in my entire life. So it's kind of weird to see that different perspective. And Charlie Chaplin actually agreed with her. Here's some photographs of her family. This is her and her husband shortly after their wedding. And here's her and her 2 sons and her husband there. Cute little family portrait. So to give a face to those names. And in conclusion, Bow was not your typical actress in the 1920s. She would rather play poker with her chauffeurs, cooks, and maids than go to movie premieres. Bow was considered America's first sex symbol for just being herself. She started trends, exposed her sexuality, and stood for rebellion. Bow was a new modern woman that many people took a liking to due to her naturalistic approach and honest attitude. She proved as a woman that you could be successful by earning the highest pay per week as a movie star. Bow represented individuality and independence. She did what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it. Bow states we had individuality. We did as we pleased. We stayed up late. We dressed the way we wanted. I used to whiz down Sunset Boulevard in my open Kissel with several red chow dogs to match my hair. Today, they're sensible and end up with better health, but we had more fun. She brought forth the vision of feminism, advancing the society through her actions, attitude, wardrobe, looks, story, and powerful fame. Bow had a rough childhood, suffering many mental illnesses, yet through everything she dealt with, she still remained an inspiration for not just women, but all people. Her horrible upbringing allowed for a great actress with high ambitions, set to change the world and societal standards. Bow proved that no matter what your social class says about you, you can still be successful and powerful. She wanted to be free, and in result, others looked up to her and wanted to be free too. When asked about being a nation-known sex symbol, Bow declares, "A sex symbol is a heavy load to carry when one is tired, hurt, and bewildered." We should thank Clara Bow for all she stood for, because without her story in our history books, who knows how advanced women's liberation would be today. And a popular quote Clara Bow said is, "I'm a big freak because I'm myself," and I think that kind of embodies what she stood for. And the author of Gatsby, Fitzgerald, talked about her saying, "This girl was the real thing, something to stir every pulse in the nation." So even famous authors thought that she was an incredible society-changing human being. And there's my works cited. Thank you guys all for watching.